What's up, Go enthusiasts? I only just recently realized that this tsumego app, Go Problems, I think is by Kim Jiseok. I'm not exactly sure, but it's a very popular app among the pros these days. It has an endgame section, so I haven't even checked out the other part of the endgame section, evaluation, but here we have value comparison. I went and did easy through medium. And here we are on hard, and I was realizing this is actually quite difficult. And probably it's best that I even write some stuff down. So I've got my trusty Go notebook. Um, Ready here, and we're gonna figure out what's the biggest move between A, B, and C. Figure out how big they are. So the obvious one is B. That one is 5 points. When white plays there, there's 0. When black plays there, there's 5. The second easiest is probably C. Now, when white plays there, we know that Hane here for that one is sente, and then this one for that is sente. So we can count, if white plays, then black has all of these and doesn't have these, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, because when black plays, black is also going to get all those insides, I'm going to just count these two as gone. And remember that. But really, I'm just going to think of it as when white plays, this is 0. And then when black plays, how much is black getting on top of that? So if black plays at C here, then if black plays again, black will have 5 points total from that. If white is the next one to play there, black will have the 3 points, white will have the 1 point, and then black will have a potential 1 and a third point move available. Yeah? The thing is, that ties in also to the endgame over here. And the way that is going to work is that if white ever gets a stone at G7, black owes a move. And if white never gets a stone over there, black never owes the move. But additionally, when white gets that stone, it can cause like an immediate short liberty problem that relates to the right side. So it becomes a bit tricky to count. Hard, I've realized, is actually hard. So to count it, we have to think about what players would actually do, not just always evaluations. So if black plays, black is going to play C. And then the next biggest move for white is definitely to capture here. And then black should choose between whether they're going to play at D or E or F next. If they played at F, something like that, they'd have to back it up, and then white would get this one in sente. I think that's not good compared to playing at D, where we then can trade E and F. Because this one in sente is already a 1 point, and we only gain the 1 point if we still have to answer back over here anyway. Yeah? So the correct way will be for black to play at D next, if black is the one who plays next. At which point we can say, locally speaking, black gained 3, right? Lost 1, and then if black is the one who's answering here, black gets 1 more as well, for a total of +3 and a third, and it looks like this, so also getting 2 points over here compared to the baseline. +3, a third, and 2 would make it so that black is +5 and a third if black captures, and when white recaptures, black captures back. If when black captures, black is the next one to play, then black would be +5 here, and then also the +2 for a total of +7. Yeah? So I can write it down. Here we go. If white plays at 0, so white is 0, black is, we realized, +7, black is +5 and a third, and black we still have to figure out. We think that white is going to play here, right? Then black and Atari, white can answer, and then it's white's right to exchange the remaining stones over here. So black is black captured 2 more stones than white, and then did not gain anything here or here, so it's only +2. So we know from black, white, black being +5 1/3, and black, white, white being +2, we know that black, white is halfway between that, which is 3 2/3. If we treat everything as gote. So then if black is +7, black, white is 3 2/3, then again, if we treat everything as gote, black should be halfway between 3 2/3 and 7 is what? Let's see. That would be 4, and it gets into, wait. Between 3 2/3 and 7 is like between 0 and 3 1/3, which is 1 and sorry, 1 and a half plus a sixth, which is 1 and 7/12, right? No, 1 and a half plus a sixth is 1 and 2/3, right? No, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, does it make sense? Yes, it does. That's 1 and 2/3. Sanity check. Yep. So halfway between 3 and 2/3 and 7 should be 5 1/3. Yeah, sounds sane. So then black is 5 1/3. So then that means the original position here, the difference between white and black is 5 1/3, if we calculated that out right, which would be bigger than B. The question is whether any of these moves are sente. So is the size increasing as we go down the line at all? So when we go to... No, the size does not increase. When we go to black, white, it's actually coincidentally exactly the same as from black, white to black, white, black, as from black to black, white, for example. Okay. So there's no sente, so then we know that this C should be 5 1/3 and B should be 5, and now we have to check A. If we play A, and then we play again, we would play these two, and then we can block it off here and here to simplify. And then, so that's pressing white back as far as possible, so we're going to call white being blocked back to here as 0 for white, and it presses black out as far as possible, so black gets 2 points for that, and then we're going to give black all of these points. We'll say they have 5 there as well, so we say if we go black, black, it's black +7, white +0, okay? Black, black equals +7. If we go black, white, then it becomes, again, pretty similar. So if black plays this capture and then white blocks, then again, we would draw the walls going down here. White would be getting 1 more point. Black would be getting only 1 point out of this, and in the corner, only 4. So that would be 5 for black, 1 for white is black by 4. So black, white is +4. If white plays, by the way, this means that black by itself, just black playing, is +5.5. Now, if white plays at A, then we would typically view the next move as white sente. So white plays at A, then you would say that white D for black B2 is white sente, and then going down is normal. And you can do that in other ways, but that's the typical way. And in that case, white is getting 1 additional point here and an additional point here. Black is not getting any points there, and black is getting 3 points from the corner. So that would be black +1 if white plays at A. So white is +1. And that means that this move should be a 4.5 point move. This one is 5, and this one is 5 1/3. That's my guess. That's my understanding. So let's see. I clicked it. It said correct. It doesn't actually tell you how big the moves are if you get it right, but it does if you get it wrong, which I think is a little strange. But anyway, there we go. That was problem 1. the first problem of this hard collection. That's how you do it. Let's keep going. So I'm going to put the next problem here that I get. The goal is to get 20 in a row right. Well, you can mess up 3. And if you mess up 3 on your way, then you got to go again. Boop. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, that one's not there. It doesn't really matter. The non-relevant endgame. Ooh, that one is not there. Okay. So we're looking here at a... Oh, wait. There's a white stone here. That's very relevant. Okay. We're looking at A, B, and C. How big are these? Oh, and it turns out that connecting stone would be relevant here. Anyway. Let's see. The easiest to count is probably A here. So, yeah, when white plays at A, then these two are miai. So white will definitely be able to connect. And that means that white has effectively 3 points inside here, we could say. Actually, we need to count back to the other one because I just read the other thing. So white has 4 points if we count 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah? Meanwhile, if black plays at A, then white needs to save this one. And then when black connects back, it's black's right to exchange this. So white is going to have 0. So that means that this A is a 4-point move. Basic 4-pointer. Easy. Then we have to check the other ones. So if black plays at B, then we can draw the walls here and say black gets that and an additional third of a point chance to capture the ko, win the ko. Meanwhile, if white pushes forwards, so if white is the first one to play here, then it's probably going to be black's right to exchange this. So black is going to lose 1 point here, and then it's going to be white's right to exchange this. So compared to black blocking here and having it connected, black loses these 2 points. So when white plays at B, let's see, is it just a simple 3-pointer? It looks like B is just a simple 3, A is just a simple 4. How about C? If black plays at C there, then black is going to get, we'll say 2 points like this. And if white plays at C, then it's white's right to capture. And then black would recapture every time. So that's already a gain of +1. Black is going to have to spend an additional stone inside. But the question is what happens when white plays here. So when white plays here, black connect. That's going to be fair. And then white has an additional equity of a third of a point. So when black plays, it's black +2. And when white plays, then black 0 and white +1. And white plus an additional third. So this C is 3 and a third. A is 4 and B is 3. So I believe it's A. That is correct. Got it. That one is much easier than the last one. Let me fill in the next problem here. You might think this is silly, but many games are won and lost with this kind of stuff. I promise. Okay, we are comparing A, B, and... Oh, this stone isn't there. A, B, and C. Okay. This one's going to be a bit harder again, I think. First of all, let's look at B. So if white plays at B, it's obvious and easy. We'll call that 0. Okay? We'll call that 0 for both. If black plays at B, black earns 3 points and a point here. So black +4. And then white could recapture, or if black comes back, it could be +2. So black is that. So black is +6. Black white, if black captures and then white recaptures, then black has only gained 3 points so far, and then has the chance to play another move, which is going to be worth 1 and a third. So having half of that opportunity, because if white plays, it's going to be 0. That's worth 2/3 of a point. So black, white, black has 3, and then also the 2/3 for plus 3 and 2/3. And we know that white equals 0. If you want to pause the video and figure out how much the move at B is worth, well, we know it's going to be black minus white. We know that black here, this stuff implies that black equals 5 1/3, right? That's what we figured out before. Hang on a second. Does that mean I messed up with the 7 earlier? I might have messed up with my calculation on 7. No. Or did I? I knew something was going wrong in my sanity check. No, something's going wrong here. 5 1/3 doesn't make sense. Sorry. This is where the thing is going wrong. We have to go halfway between 6 and 3 and 2/3, and obviously that is not this. That is 4 and 5/6. Yeah, black equals 4 and 5/6. So we know that black minus white is the size. So the size of B, this one, is 4 and 5/6. Great. Now let's check out A. If black plays at A, we can give them all these points. I'm going to call it 5 points and 0 for white. I think that's pretty obvious. If white plays at A, then white has the right to play here. Black has to answer like this. And then later on, black can play that one in exchange for white connecting, and then has a 1/3 of a point equity as well. So in that case, black has 1 point and an additional 1/3 of a point equity. White captured 1 point as well. So if white plays, black has a 1/3 of a point. And if black plays, black has 5. So that means this one is 4 and 2/3. Yeah? Now let's look at C. C, I believe, is also 4 and 2/3. If my general knowledge is correct. I'm actually not going to rederive that. You can do it. Because I know that B is correct. I'm not going to overwork myself. You should figure it out. C is worth 4 and 2/3. You should do the effort yourself if you would like some practice. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop. Oh, this one is a slightly bigger one, but whatever. Slightly bigger board they gave us this time. But all the endgame still fits in the 9x9, so we're good. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, kind of. Well, I can tell you guys there's the same 3 stones get captured in the corner thing that we saw in a previous problem. That same thing is happening here. Yeah, and then there's also something going on. So I'll construct these 2. But they expanded the size of the board on me. Okay, so we have A and B, and then a previous thing that we saw before. But I kind of forgot, to be honest. So I may have to rederive it. Okay. So how big is this stone at B? If black plays B, then black has the potential to play here, which is worth 1.5 points. If white plays at B, then black Atari is sente, so white has 4 points. So in total, this one is a 5.5 pointer. Yeah, straightforward 5.5 pointer. If black plays at A, we have to do some calculation because white might answer or might not answer. If white does answer, again, we're going to give them 5 points here. And if white does not answer, for the same reasons as we saw last time, we're going to give white a 1/3 of a point. Yeah? So, after black plays at A, this position can either go to 5 or to a 1/3, which means it originally is at 2 and 2/3. Yeah? Halfway in between. So this is an expected 2 and 2/3 points for white, and then black also is getting 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here. So we're going to give white 2 and 2/3, black we'll give them 4, and we're going to keep reading what happens when white plays at A. So if white plays at A, then white can reduce all but one of these. Yeah? So black will still have 1 point and white will have 5. So if black So if black plays, black is plus 1/3. Yeah, I'll reduce it all. So if black plays, black is plus 1 1/3 from before we saw black is 4. And if white plays, black is still getting 1 and black and white is getting 5. So if white plays, then black is minus 4. So then the total value of this one is 5 1/3. So we know that this one is 5 1/3, this one is 5 1/2. And then the other one that's off the board, I guess I can try to reconstruct it here. I mean, why not, right? I think I just did it earlier in this video, but I already forgot. It's tough to remember. How big is this one? Yeah. So we have our 5 1/2, our 5 1/3. So we're really comparing against the 5 1/2. Is this one bigger or smaller than 5 1/2? So we know that if black plays, then we zero it out to here. Yeah, I even have the written things here. Because if white plays and then white plays again, it's the plus 7. Yeah. So this one was also a 5 1/3. So the 5 1/2 is bigger. Yeah. So B. I picked my 5 1/2. That one is 5 1/3. We literally just did it, and I just forgot. But this one is 5 1/3 to play A. Okay, let's go back and again. Okay, I'm just gonna start making them on bigger thing. How big is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm just gonna build myself an 11 by 11. 11. Oop. Can I just click up arrow? Okay, great. No, go back. Where did I go? Did I accidentally go? I clicked the wrong thing. No, okay. I mean, I think I can get back. For some reason, it's not like re-rolling the RNG on me. Man, I have to redo these problems that I've been doing before. Which of these is the biggest? The 6 1/2er. Which of these? Is it 5 1/3, the 5, or A? How big was that one again? Doing the same. I think the 5 1/3. Oh, geez. I'll just do A again. So after that, there. No, it was the 5 1/3. That was the biggest. And then we had the 4 versus the slightly smaller than 4s. And then we had the 5 1/2 being, or, no, that one is the 4 2/3, the 4 2/3, and the 4 5/6 one that we just had. And then here we just had our 5 1/2 one. And now we have a new one. Okay. There we go. Sorry, I just had to remember the answers. I guess it's some kind of repetition to accidentally get booted out like this. Okay. Here we go. I have to reconstruct endgame puzzle. Oop. Here. Here. Okay. So we have choice between playing A or B or C. So if we play at B, let's see. That becomes half. So this is a 3 1/2 pointer because if white plays, so this one is 3.5 basic. If A, so if white plays at A, white is going to get these 3 and reduce us 1. And if we play at A, then we're going to get that 1. And then there's an additional, they have 1/3 of a point expected value from there because we have the right to exchange these two. And then they have the right to do, to capture back. There's an additional thing going on here. Now that I look at it, that actually complicates this A a little bit, and probably complicates this C as well. Okay, let me think about it. If they play A, I'm going to give them all these points, okay? If they play first, they reduce us, and then they also get all of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. If we play at A, Then after that, we have to play our next move at D. And then they're going to play at E, because that's going to be a 1-pointer, which is bigger than the Ko stuff. Then we can connect, and then they can Atari, and we can connect. That would be like normal. Or if white played first, then we would come back, and then white would have a chance at... white would have 1/3 of a point equity if they played first, or if we played first, it would be 0. So that means they have 1/6 of a point equity there. And their initial 3. So they lose 3, but they have an additional 1/6, and then we have an additional 1. So it's a 3. This one is a 3 and 5/6. Yeah? Is that how it works? So if black plays at A, we reduce them by 4, but we reduce them by 3, add 1 to us, but they get an additional 1/6 of an equity. So I'm going to say this is a 3 and 5/6. This one is a 3.5. So obviously this is the one we're comparing with, and then we look at C. So what happens at C? Well, if white plays at K11, okay, let's first look. If white plays at C, we're going to give them the 6 points, and then they have a 3rd point equity. And then if we play at C, then we're also going to play at K11. Again, they're going to connect, and again, we will leave that. So then they, if we decided to play again, we would be playing connect here, there. So, if they play at C, they get 6 1/3. We're gonna say white is 6 1/3. Black, black white is obvious. If they play there, it's 4 for them. Black. Black is 2. Black, white. Black and then black. And then if white plays the next one, we're going to come back and connect. And then they can play the next one after that. They get an additional 3rd point value, so 2 and 1/3. So that means that black, obviously, is 2 1/6, which means that black, halfway between 4 and 2 1/6. Sorry. That's annoying. What's halfway between 4 and 2 1/6? It's 3 1/12. So black is 3 1/12. And then what's halfway between 3 and 1/12? Oh, so then the size of the move is between 3 and 1/12 and 6 1/3. And we already know that this one was 3 and 5/6, right? So this is definitely smaller by a lot. Which makes sense, right? I think that makes sense. Because the E is just a free extra resource in the bottom left that we can potentially get. I think. I'm not sure. I think it makes sense. Okay, it was making sense. It was correct. We got it right. The 3 and 5/6 one is correct here. All right, let's go next. Have they gone back to 9x9? Oh my goodness. Can I just open? Let me try to do this a better way. I'm sure I can. Yeah, there we go. They went back to the 9x9s, so here we are. Oops. I will say, as a person who has created some endgame puzzles recently, it is not that easy. It is not as easy as you think it is to create endgame puzzles. So I totally understand they're going from the 9x9 to the 11x6 just so that they can get all the shapes in. You know, you think endgame puzzles would be really easy to make because every game that you play has endgame puzzles, right? But it turns out they are a bit rarer than you think, at least the interesting ones. So it can be a bit challenging. Okay. So here we have A, B, C, and D. 4 options this time. So, first of all, A is a classic, which I really should know off the top of my head. I think it's 1 1/3, but I gotta be careful. It's probably not that. If black is definitely not that. Sorry. It's like 2 and. Let me just calculate it. If black plays at A and then black plays again, black would be +2. And if black plays at A and white plays, then black is +1 and white has a 1/3 equity. So black is overall +2/3. And if white plays, it's symmetrical the other way. So if black plays, black is +1 1/3. If white plays, white is +1 1/3. This is a 2 2/3 point move. B. So if white plays at B, then there are never any sente over here. So it's just 0. And if black plays at B, then are there any sente over here? We're going to say probably not. So it's just a 3, I'm going to say. Yeah, I think that B is a simple 3. So B is bigger than A. Then we have C and D. Let's look at C first. If white plays, white is going to play C itself. It's going to be a drop down line here. And black has a 3rd point equity on top of that. If black plays, black is going to play C. And then black gets 1 more point, white gets 1 less point. And instead of black having a 3rd equity, black has a 1 point equity. So this one is a 2 2/3 as well. 2 2/3. Then D. So if white plays at D, white's going to get all 3 of these points. And if black plays at D, then black is going to get the chance to play here, here, and then white has a 3rd equity, so it's also 2 2/3. So I think that this B is 3 points, and the other ones are all 2 2/3, and at least B was definitely the biggest. It marked me correct. Great. Okay, we have another 9x9. Okay, so now we can choose between A, B, and C. So B is a simple 5-pointer. When you play at A, then yeah, we've learned from this last one. When you play at A, then if we then play here, we have the right to do that one. They have the right to do that one. And then it's a 1/6 of a point chance, because if black plays, it's going to be 0, but if white plays, white gets a 1/3 of a point remaining. So if black plays at A, and white plays next, then white is going to get all these points. So the only points that are under consideration, I guess, are these, and the extra one over there. So after you play at A, this next move is about 4 points. Is a 3 and 5/6. 3 is it a 6th? Yeah, 3 and 5/6 point move after A. So after black plays at A, it's a 3 and 5/6 point move to play the next one here. What are we going to call 0? How do we compare against it? We're going to say after black plays and then white plays here and black answers and white connects, that's 0, okay? So black is +3 and 5/6. Black white is 0. So we know that black then is plus 1 and 11/12. Annoyingly. I might have not done this that well. Anyway, if white plays at A, then white's next move, Hane, we would answer, and then we could answer here. And black's next move, Hane here, connect, would allow white to make this Atari as their right anyway. So if white plays A, it's just a 2-point move after that. Standard 2-pointer. which means that you can simplify it as being the walls that go down. It's equivalent. And if you compare the walls that go down to the position I called 0, it is 1 point better for white. So we know that white equals plus 1. Is that true? No, 1 point better for white is minus 1. Sorry, white is minus 1. Okay. So we know A is then a 2 and 11/12 point value move. Does that sound right? No, there's an additional point as well. When white plays, we also collapse this point in every variation. So white plays is actually minus 2. Okay, there we go. Then this is a 3 and 11/12. A is a 3 and 11/12 move. B is a 5-pointer. It's still definitely bigger to play B than A. Like, I knew that just intuitively. But let's go calculate C. How big is C? So when black plays C, then white should definitely play H9. That's their sente. And then black is going to play J7. And then there's no reason for anybody to try to throw into the corner. So that's just a simple line. If white plays, white's going to play this J8. And then I guess that might not be sente. If we treat that as sente, then white gets an additional 3 points, and nothing changes for black. So then in that case, C would be a 3-point reverse sente, whereas B is a 5. So normally we would call the 3-point reverse sente bigger, although in actual, in my game, I would do something a little better than that. I have a little snazzy trick to do. Anyway, if we don't treat J8 as white sente, then things get a bit more complicated. White's next follow-up is J7. At which point, so that gained 3 points, and also this one gives that potential to capture. So if black then answers at D, then that's, we can call it 0, and if white captures, black has the right to block, and then, oh my goodness. It's actually so difficult to calculate when you have to go forward, and then somehow my brain is not working anymore. J8, J7, and then how big is the move at D? It's usually a 2 and a third, I think. But let me calculate that. So white is simple 3 over black. White is +2 minus a third. And so white to black, white is 2 and a third, and then white to black is 2 and a third. Okay. So if we compare J8, white play J8 to black playing H8, there's 3 points difference, assuming black answers. If black doesn't answer, then white cuts at J7, which gets an additional 3 points, plus the chance to play at D, which, the size of that move is 2 and a third over what black was getting in all the other variations. So since white only gets the chance for that, that's only 1 and a sixth. So you could say that the follow-up to J8 of J7, that one is only 4 and a sixth points. Whereas J8 itself, we're calling it 6, is not that reason. So it's really 3 plus a 4 and a 6 points follow-up, which is 5 and a 12th. Yeah, so J8 is a 5 and a 12th compared to C. And B is just a 5, so that means C should be biggest. Correct. So C is 5 and a 12th. Okay, let's go back. We're still on the 9x9. Let me put some stones down. Yeah, at some point these problems become very contrived looking, but it's not because they are contrived, it's because they're actually trying to be simplified over the real game situations, which are much more complicated in general than these contrived looking problems. Like, I know this looks a little weird, but in general, they give you stuff like that looks awkward with all these like fallen back thicknesses, because the fallen back thicknesses makes it very clear the follow-ups will be 0, so you don't have to keep calculating. It's actually a kindness in the endgame construction, not a. I think many people interpret it as a meanness that is not doesn't look so natural. Anyway, let's see. So we have A, B, and C. B is the simplest looking. So if white plays B, that's obviously 5. If black plays B, white has a half. So this is a 4.5 pointer at B. A. So if black plays at A, then we expect white to be getting A7, A8 for A7, and then black has 3 points, and then gets to capture the stone, forcing white to come back. So that's 4 points, but white has an additional 3rd point to equity. So when black plays A, we're expecting black equals 3 2/3 points. And when white plays at A, then white could play again. Jeez. Black wouldn't do the thing, would he? Okay, let's look at what happens when white plays A and then black answers first. That's a lot easier. So if white plays A and then black answers, then the next move for white would be at A8, giving them 2 points and making it so that black has 1.5. Right? That's 1.5. Because if black plays, it's 2, and if white plays, it becomes a half. So it's not. It's 1.25 then. If black plays, it's 2, and if white plays, it's a half a point. Therefore, we currently have 1.25. Okay, so we know that white is white 2 and black 1.25. So it's negative 2/3. Sorry, negative 3/4. Wait, white 2, black 1.25. Half of that, half in between that, is half of 3.25, which is 1 5/8. So it's negative 1 5/8. We know that white, black. So that's, sorry. That's white, black, white. Sorry. It's white, black, white. White, black, black is simpler. That's a simple 2. So white, black, white, black, black equals positive 2. Very simply. Wait, if it's negative... sorry, I messed this calculation up entirely. Jeez. White, black, black is obviously 2. White, black, white. I confused myself. White, black, white. White gets 2. Black is getting 1.25. So white is better here, but the amount white is better is half of is 3/8, right? Is negative 3/8. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then we need to know what happens after white, which is not also not easy. So after white, white, we know that would then be there's no point in doing anything other than A7. So that would be +3 for white. White is -3. And white, black So if black plays a6, it becomes the same. So black needs to play a7, then white plays a8. And then black can leave it to become the same, or black can play to make it this. So white, black would be -2. Okay. So that means that white equals -2.5, 2.5. I'm gonna write 2.5. And white black, by the way, white black is halfway between these two. What's that? If it was between 0 and 2 and 3/8, then it would be 1 and 3/16, right? So it's 2 minus 1 and 3/16, which is 13/16. White black is 13/16. And we know that white is 2.5. Two and a half, and halfway between these, so we want to know what white is, because we know black is 3 2/3. That part was easier. But halfway between 13/16 and 2.5, well, we need to honestly express this in 16ths, don't we? 32 16ths plus 8/16 is 40/16. So we need halfway between 13/16 and 40/16. We can call it 53 30-seconds. 53 over 32. And then we want to know how big the difference is between 3 2/3 and 53 over 32. That's really annoying. God. Oh, man. So let's express this in the same kind of... So what do we need to do? We need to call this in 96ths, right? So we need to go 159 over 96. And over here, how many 96 is this? Gosh. It's going to be 64 96 plus 96 plus 96 plus 96, which would be what? 288 plus 64 is 292 plus 60 is 352 96. 352 over 96. And then, okay, so the size of the move is black minus white. I must have messed something up here, because it can't be this small. Damn it. Okay, let's go back and check. If black plays, black is 3 2/3. I agree with that. If it's white, black, black, then black gets 2. I agree with that. Oh, I have this is -2.5, but I had it as +2.5, I believe. So white is -2.5, not +2.5. So that's how I got a wrong number over here. Sorry. But that doesn't mean it's going to be any prettier, to be honest with you. So white is halfway between -2.5 and 13/16, which was -40/16 and 30/16. Sorry, so the sum difference of these is 53 16ths. And then, yeah, so we're taking 53 16ths away from 13/16. No, we're taking 53 30-seconds away from 13/16. Damn it. So that means effectively 53 30-seconds. Okay, away from 13/16. So away from 26. So we have 26 over 32 minus 53 over 32. How many at the end is that? 26. It's -27 32s. Okay, So we have white. White equals negative 27 over 32. And black is 3 2/3. So the sum difference of those, since we know, so black, it actually still matters to know how many 96 it is. It is still 352/96. And how many 96ths is this? It's negative 81. 96, negative 81 over 96. And so the sum difference is actually them added together, which is a total of 433 over 96, which you have to compare to 4.5. So yeah, 4 would be bringing us to 384, right? So this is 4, and then 384 equals 4, and then, so 16 plus 33 is 49. 4 and 49 96 compared to 4.5. So this is very, very, very slightly bigger, because 4 and 48 96, that would be 4.5. But this is actually, A is 1/96 bigger than B, as far as I can tell. Okay, that's wondrous. All right. What a funny problem. All right. So we know that A is 4 and 49 96ths, and B is 4.5. And how big is C? We already did this before. So so this one is black is here. Black white is one line back. And then also there. So we have black. And then if white plays, then this is white sente, and then this is the line again. So if we treat it, so black gets 5 and 2. So black is +7. We have black white is white gets one more is +4. So then this one was also 4.5. This C. Yeah, I have it in my notes here. This one is also 4.5. So all this effort, and I believe A is the biggest. What an amusing problem. Wrong. Oh, A was indeed slightly bigger. It has it as 4.6, which is funny. But it has this one as 4.75. So I must have done something wrong in my previous analysis, because I had this one as 4.5 before. Okay. Well, let's see what C is 4.75, they say. Ah, because now when black and then black plays D, E, F, then black would also get the right to play here. So after black, we're also getting an additional potential point over there, which is more important than A being very minimally better than 4.5 points. I missed that. Yeah, this one is different than the previous problem that we had. Okay. Well, let's go next. That was one mistake out of some sloth from me, not recognizing that it was mildly different, and then it was that mild difference of the cutting point here does, or not necessarily the cutting point, the cutting point at F2 really. Yeah, the mild difference of the cutting point at F2 made it so that that one was no longer 4.5, but 4.75. Have fun. Let's keep going. We have this here. Okay. We have A or B. Only two. So they might be a bit difficult. Especially this B looks very annoying. A shouldn't be too annoying. If white plays A, we're getting more and more familiar with the corner thing. We know that playing at A2 means this part becomes a third. Whereas if black plays there, then that would be 3 and also reduce the 1. So we know that after we play at A, then this part, we can call it that it becomes 1 2/3, whereas this becomes a half. The point here is 1/2, depending on who gets what. Yeah? Anyway, if we did say it like that, I mean, what we really should be doing is comparing to a blank state, which is more decisive. So let's compare to white plays here and black. So let's say white, black equals 0. Then we know white is white minus 3 and a third, right? Or is it 3 2/3 difference? Because it's 4 and then there's a yeah, there. So in that case, black black is 2/3 equity in that. So we change 4 points with this, but then black is 2/3 equity in the co. The fact that they've captured it means that they have 2/3. So white is minus 3 1/3. Then if black plays at A, well, white could play at A4 or at B5, or black could play the next move, which I guess would be at B5. Black, let's count that compared to white, black before. Then white is getting, let's say, 3 points here. After black, then white has this cente, and then is not getting any points, and then black gets 1, 2, 3. So black is plus 3 points for black over white, black, white. Depends on which strategy. So if they play the A4 strategy, then white is getting 1 point, and black got 1 point, and that, so it's plus 1. Or if white would play this way, then black would get plus 3, and white would be trying to get this one. I guess it's just strictly worse, right? So black-white is plus 1. So this means that white is halfway between these, and black is obviously 2. White is minus 1 and 2/3. And that means the total value of A, this one is a 3 2/3. Great. 3 2/3. Now let's look at B. So if black plays at B, and then black plays again, black would probably play, I mean, gosh, this is very confusing. Oh, there's going to be a bunch of different lines. If black plays B, and then black plays again, white will cut, black must capture. And then that's a situation where if black plays, black reduces the 1 point, we can call it 0. If white plays, white gets 1 and a third. So at that moment, white has 2/3 equity from all the stuff coming back there, but black captured a stone and has all this stuff. Yeah, all this stuff back here. So we're gonna count those points, geez, a long way back. A long way back. Okay, but we're definitely going to be answering when white does this and that, so that's no problem. Yeah, so that's no problem. So we're only going to count. So when black captured the 1 stone, we're going to count 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, 4 points. And then white is getting 2/3 from all of that back to there. So black equals plus 4, and then minus 2/3 is positive 3 1/3. Black, white would be white blocks here, then we can expect this is black's right. And then white is getting 2 points, and black is getting 3 points, so that's +1. And then that means we can figure out that black directly is 2 and a 6th. Okay. If white plays, then should black answer here or here? It should be here, right? So just to allow that to be sente, but not this one because it saves the code. Okay, so white, black. White is getting 4 points and black is getting 1 point, so it's -3. White would be playing this one, then the ko is their sente. White is getting 4 points plus a stone for 5. Black still has a 1/3 point equity, so 4 is -4 and 2/3. And that means that white is -3 and 2/3. No, 3 and 5/6. So black to white from +2 and a 6 to -3 and 5/6. That is actually exactly 6 points. Yeah. So we have this one is a 3 and a 1/3, and the other one is a 6-pointer. Is this really a 6-pointer? Does that make sense to you guys? Black, black. I counted +3. Yeah, that's true. I think it is. I mean, it's definitely bigger than A. But is it really a 6-pointer? That's crazy. I don't think of this kind of move as a 6-pointer, but given that the white next move is sente, and it's so big, it is actually massive. I think maybe we can do something better, though. Like, if we play at... Right? Wait. If white... No, this is normal. Yeah, there's nothing... There's no way to treat anything as sente. It's just a 6-pointer. And A is definitely not a 6-pointer. Although I wasn't counting the backwards points for A. That was what I was messing up, maybe. Yeah, okay. I messed some counting up for A. A is only slightly less than a 6-pointer. Actually, I completely messed up the counting for A, if you guys noticed. That was totally my bad. Oh well. Let's do another. Oops. Here we have a shape that I did before, but forgot again. Maybe I should be remembering these. I mean, I'm sure I will remember these as I do more of them. Okay, so here, this one looks very familiar, right? Is it the same exact number? Let me think about it. Yeah. So A, 6-pointer. We have B and C as well. So A is clean 6. B, if white plays there, and we Atari, white does have to answer. If we play here, then... So we'll call that getting 6 points for white. But if we play here, then is this our right or not? It's not really, right? So the question is whether white can ever make a point out of this. If white plays here, that does become their point as well. This one being the sente move means usually that it's a 2-point value to play the push through, but it's like a half sente, it's exactly not gote nor sente, which creates a lot of interesting dynamics. I think this is, what is it when you have the sente move coming up next? Is this an up or a down? Does anyone know infinitesimals, endgame infinitesimals? I was studying it recently, like I don't know, a few months ago, but clearly I've forgotten entirely. I think this is an up, right? This is an up for black. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, this is an up for black. So how much do you value it though? Because the up doesn't really matter. What is the expected value? Um, when we could play. So if white plays, so after we play a B, if white plays, white gets these 2 points. If black plays, then it should be the right. So white should not get these 2 points. So basically, right now we can value white as getting one of the points. So it's as if this was Sente, which is not true, but it's the same thing as if it were, because it's the 2 point. Yeah, of course, it's the same thing. Yeah, that's how it works. I'm dumb. Sorry. Um, so A is 6. If this is Sente, then that means when we play at B, we can break through to that. So white playing at B and still having to answer when we Atari, like this. That means they have this one. So B is a 7-pointer, A is a 6-pointer, and C. Oh geez, I was doing some stuff with C, I think, before deciding to turn on the camera. Let's figure this one out. If white plays at C, then white gets to play here, and white's going to get these 2 points and this point. We're going to say it was white plus 3, and then black plus 2 for white plus 1 overall, okay? So I'll write it down. White, I'm going to write a -1. Then if black plays, well, then we can look at black playing again. Black, black, black is when black plays Atari, captures, and then connects. In that case, black gets +5 here. And then blocking over here means that in comparison to the white one, black gets 3 extra points. And then, yeah, white is still getting the 1 point back here that we awarded to them in the other variation. So +5, +3, and then white is getting 1 for a total +7. Black, black, black is +7. Black, black, white. So if black Ataris captures, then white's next move should be to recapture, which then makes this whole thing. Okay, black already got the 3 points, right? Then white got 1 point, and black has a chance for a 1 2/3, for a 1 1/3. So therefore, black has 2/3 equity. White just got a 1 point, and that means in total, this is 2 2/3 favorable to black, and then this part, it's still fixed as the thing where white is getting 1 point and black is getting, in comparison to the other, three more, right? Yeah, right. So it's +2 over here, +3, and then -1/3 if white plays. So it's a total of +4 2/3. So we have black, black, black is +7, black, black, white is +4 2/3. If we look at black, white, then this next move is really important. So black, white, black would be, we get to reduce that, so it's 0, and then we get all these points again. So again, it's a +3. So black, white, black is just a +3. Black, white, black is +3. Black, white, white. White gets this point back. Black loses all these. It becomes a complete 0. It goes 0. So that means black, black is halfway between 7 and 4 2/3. That's a 2 1/3 difference, which means it's gonna be 5 5/6. So black, black is 5 5/6. Black, white, meanwhile, is 1.5. Which means that black is halfway between 1.5 and 5 5/6. That is 3 4/6, or 3 2/3. Which means that the size of the move, which is black minus white, is 4 2/3. So this is a 4 2/3. So C is a 4 2/3er. A is 6. Really? 4 2/3 only? Yeah, I think so. B is definitely the biggest. B is huge. Yep. So C is 4 2/3, B is 7, and A is 6. That's my counting. All right, let's go next. Let's see. So here. Do. Okay, now we can play A or B or C, and B is better than it looks because there's 2 stones here. So A, B, or C. So B, again, really obvious. If black plays 5 points, if white plays, white has 1/2. So this one is a 5.5er. 5.5, obvious. A, that's a little interesting. So if white plays A, then white playing at C3 is kind of like their sente, because if white then captured at B4, and then what black has to answer at A5, that would have been a 1 1/3 point move, and the original move is worth 1. So it really should be white's sente, unless black is co-master and has infinite co-threats and can like delay, delay until all the endgame is over and then answer, which would be making it only a 1-pointer. But anyway, we're gonna assume it's like 1-point sente. So in that case, when you play A, when white plays there, then it is an additional point different. Oh, and the cutting point for this part also matters. So when white plays, we're going to assume black has to connect all this stuff, and white is going to get all of this for a total of 5 0. When black plays at A, black is getting 2. And then when black plays B1, it's going to be supposed to be answered at C3. And then white can play here, black can play here. That's equivalent exchange, and white is getting 1/3. Yeah, white is getting 1/3 expected value there. So when and it also has the 2 points to match the black 2 points. So when white plays, it's 5 0, and when black plays, black is getting white is getting 1/3. So this one is 5.5, and this one is only 4 2/3, I believe. That should be right, yeah. And then when C, so when black plays at C, then black at G3 is his right, and then we just have the wall going down like this. So then we can say that's white getting 0 is filling back to here. And it's black getting, we'll count all of these, black plus 4. So black plays at C, we're going to say black plus 4. If white plays at C, then black has 2 options. They can push in, which allows this and that, terrible move, or they can block. So they're going to block. So white, black for the block. Then white can connect, or white can try to do this stuff. If white tries to do this stuff, then this one comes in sente, so you should just connect instead, and then have the block there. So white, black, white is, white gets 2 compared to the other one, and black gets 2. So we have black is 4, we have white, black, white is 0. We have white, black, black. That's when white allows this one. Then white has to connect, and then we have the same thing. So in that case, white loses 1 point. White loses 1 point in Sente, or white allows black to play the Sente move. Hane for that. I guess they're the same. Yeah. Hane for this, and then letting that be white's right. Is it the same? Let me think about that. If you connect, then you allow black to play the next move. Yeah, so it is the same. Black can just like leave that until he wants to play. Okay. So white black is white -1. So it's +1. And then we have white. So this means, by the way, white black equals 0.5. Then we have white, which you need to count. That one, we should give this as white's right, and then the wall is over here. So in that case, white is +2 over the other variation. Yeah? Or no, white is white +4 entirely. No, white +3. Sorry. White +3. White is white +3, and then black also -1 for this one. So sorry, black doesn't get that one. Black is 0. So white is -3, and white black. No, sorry. White is simply -3, and that's it. Yeah. So white is simply -3. White black is 0.5. That means that white is -1.25. Yeah, -1.25, which means that the size of C as a move is 5.25. So we know that B is 5.5, C is 5.25, A is 4 2/3. So B is the biggest. There we go. Got it right. Okay. Next one. Bang, bang. Bang. This video probably is way too long for the average viewer attention on YouTube, isn't it? You guys are not usually going to hang around for this long. To anybody who's still here, massive credit to you. You're going to learn Go. You actually have the patience for it. Very well done to stick around in a video this long. I'm very impressed. Okay, so oh, cancel. We want also this. Okay, so black can play A. Oops, that's what I wanted. A, B, C, or D. Now, as we know, C is worth 4 and 49.96. I'm never gonna forget that. 4 and 49 over 96. Love that. Love that. D. So after D, we can read white A8, black B6, black A7, white C9. Versus if black plays there. So this one is a total of 4. So originally, black could get 5 points, right? Or white plays here, then black is going to eventually have to connect and lose all those points and get a third of a point back, right? But he still has this point, so he loses 4 points and another one, so it loses 5 points total, but gets an additional third of a point back for a total of 4 2/3. So we know we can't take C. And we have to compare A and B. And between these two, it seems obvious to me that B is bigger. But let's count how big this A is. It should be pretty easy. So if you play it, if black plays at A, black gets 1 point, and then the remaining configuration here, when black connects, black would get 1, and it's a 1 point per step of the ko. So it's actually 0. So if black plays at A, black has 1 point there. If white plays, then white would get 2 points. And then we have the same thing going on. So white would be 4. White black would be, again, there's 0 points there, so it would be plus 2. So that means that white by itself is plus 3 for white, and black playing at A is plus 1 for black. So this A is exactly a 4-point move. B, so if white plays, white's going to play a J1, yeah? And then J2 for J4 is the right. So in that case, black gets 2 points. White gets, we're going to say, all the way up to here. And then that would mean white gets 3 points and black gets 2 points. So it's white by 1 if white plays. And if black plays, then black gets immediate 3 points. And then it's his right to Hane. So white is going to have 0 of those other points. But has the right to get 2/3 back, because this one will be their sente. So if black plays, then black is plus 2 1/3. And if white plays, then white is just plus 1. So this is a total of a 3 1/3. Is that it? Really? Wow, okay. So this is actually only a 3 1/3. So A, it turns out, is bigger, 3 1/3. And the biggest one is D. Unless I'm missing something. Am I missing something with that analysis? I don't think so. Black gets 3 points. And white goes down. So, yeah. And when white plays, then white gets only 1 more point than black. Yeah. Yeah, so that's only a 3 1/3. Anyway, D is the biggest. That's correct. Great. I will not stop until the problems stop. Or I get enough wrong that I lose, then I'll stop. Okay, we have A, B, and C. So A is starting to get very familiar, right, guys? If black plays there, then again, black is going to get the 6 points. If white plays there, white can Atari, black has to answer, and then white connect back, black A7 is a fair exchange, black has 1/3 point equity there. And black also still has 2 points of the original 6, and white has 1 point. So in total, black would have 1 1/3 after white plays at A, and 6 when they play. For a total, this one is 4 2/3. If black plays at C, black is going to get all 5 points that matter there. If white plays at C, then white can play J2 for H4, and then if white plays J3 for J4 and connects, that's 0. If black plays at J3, then black is getting 1 1/3. So in total, that whole black territory becomes only 2/3 point equity for black. So this goes from 5 to 2/3 for a total of a 4 1/3 point. And B, so if white plays at B, then the follow-up move, I think there was an earlier problem where I figured out that was 3 1/3, but I don't know why that would ever be, because after you play a B, so yeah, after white plays at B, and then black plays, then black has 2, and white has has, we'll call it 4, just to be safe. So if yeah, I think this one we'll remember 4 2/3, 4 1/3. So this one is the 4 2/3. We'll remember. Here we want to know white, black. So those 2 points and then those 4 points, we're gonna call that as 0. Then we know white is -3. We know white would definitely just block. It goes down like this, then white has 1 less point, black has 1 more point. It's +2 for black compared to white black. Black, where black pushes in again, then we can draw the lines going down. It would be normal. It's -2 and +2, it's +4. So we know that black is +3, white is -1.5. So the total is that this is a 4.5 point move. And A is 4 2/3, so we know we should take A. Great. This is problem 17, I believe. So we're almost done, unfortunately. I guess we'll go on to the next stage. I'll make the next stage another grand YouTube video. Maybe I'll feature this in more. There must be some way to make this exciting and applicable. Oh, I know how to make this exciting and applicable to the general audience. Okay, we have A, B, and C. So C is a bit bigger than 4 2/3, as per usual, because after white, white is getting a bonus point or 2. So I'll have to recalculate that. B is a 6-pointer. It's definitely going to be bigger than C. A. So when white plays there, then we'll give all of this to white. That is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. If black plays there, black gets a point. And then black wants to exchange this stuff. But white can capture first. So white is getting 2/3 point equity back from what was going to be 5 points. So A is a total of 5 1/3 because of the captured stone, right? And white getting 2/3 of a point equity back. B is 6, and C, I'll calculate it out. Let's be fair. So if black plays and then black plays again, jeez, all right, yeah, this you have to calculate out so much actually to understand this stuff well. But here we go. After black plays and black plays again, then black is gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all 6 points. Black, we're gonna say it's +6. Black, white, then black is getting a 3rd point equity back. White is getting an additional point. And black lost 3 of the 6. So that's 2 and 2/3, right? Black is getting 1/3 point back. So black only has 2 and 1/3. That means after black plays, then black is 4 1/6 point. After white plays, and then when white plays again, we can treat this as white's right, and then there's no inside stuff, so it's very simply going to be 0 for black, and then compared to getting pushed all the way back, 4 for white. So white is -4, very simply. White black, then black is going to turn here, and then this move is not necessarily his right, but black has 3. So white, black, white. Then it's black has 3 and white has 4, so it's -1. White, black, black. Then it's black's right to go here. White has 1 point, and black has 3 points, and white has a 1/3 of a point value as well, equity. So that would be positive. White has 1/3 and black has 3. Then black is positive 1 2/3. So that means that white black is 1/6, or is it 1/3? Sorry. And white is -4. Yeah. And that means that white, halfway between white black and white white, is at negative 1 5/6. And black is at positive 4 1/6. Wait, really? So C is also worth 6 points exactly on the nose? I must have miscalculated something. B and C are the exact same value? How can that be? There's over here a thing that's going on as well. I might have miscalculated something about whether the white black is sente or not. Is white black sente? So if we say C is 6 and we go white, then to white black is yeah, it's a little over a 4-point move. So after white, it's not sente, but after white black, so that's a little over a 4-point move. We go back up, and white black white is a bit smaller. No, okay. So it was truly Gote. So I've arrived at the answer that B and C are precisely equal, which doesn't seem correct. I thought B is definitely bigger, intuitively. If we play A, and then, so if black plays at A, and then later on this one happens, there's an additional thing going on there. So when black plays at A, this transform from being half a point for white to being, what is that then? If white plays, it's 1. If black plays, then it's a half. So there's an additional quarter point when black plays at A. I wonder whether that makes it bigger than 6. How much did I say that it was? So when black plays at A, it was originally 5 1/3. And then that plus a quarter is still not 6. Even if it's 5 2/3, it wouldn't be 6. Well, I must just not understand something. I believe B is the biggest. Let's see. They're saying what? They're saying A is 6 and C is 6 and a 6th. So I must have missed something. What did I miss? So first of all, A is 6, really. So if white plays there, then we can say it's very clear that after wait, okay, we're gonna so I'm sorry. Let's do this step by step. I got it wrong. Can't believe it. C. So black white is indeed 2 1/3, right? For black. Because it's gonna go like that, there. White got that point, yeah. And black is indeed 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And white. Is it not fair to attribute J6 as their right? I think that's fair. Of course it's fair. So white is definitely -4. And white is 100% -1. And white black white black is we get 3, and then white gets 1 and a third. We get 3, white gets 1 and a third. Did I say white? We get 2, white gets 1 and a third? White black is we get 3, white gets 1 and a third. And then this is halfway in between it. That's not halfway in between it. Sorry, we get 3, white gets 1 and a third. Oh, no, sorry. That means this is the thing. This is not halfway in between. I don't know what I was talking about, halfway in between. Yeah, so this is correct. And then white black, we do the math. We get a third. It's correct math for sure. It's all correct math. The only thing I could have ever gotten wrong is like a read or a sente. Like, actually, when white plays at C, that's sente. That's not true. When white plays at C and when black plays at J7, that's sente. So that's white, black. So white, black is a third. And then white, black is 1. So then the next size of a move is 1 and a third. And then the size of J7 itself, was that smaller than 1 and a third? So after white, we were at -1 5/6. So the size of J7 itself was 2 and a sixth. So no, J7 is not sente. This one is definitely a 6-pointer. Okay. Somebody needs to explain to me, please, why is C 6 and a third? What have I gotten wrong here? This is the first one that I genuinely don't understand at all. I'm sure I must have like had a misread somewhere in this, but I'm sure there's somebody watching who can help. If anybody is still watching here. Anyway, I do trust the creators of this. Like, Shinjin So is on this app. Like, the top pros are all playing this app. So I'm pretty sure that if this problem was wrong, they would have said so. But I don't know why this value of C is 6 and a sixth. Well, we go next anyway. We go next. Okay. Let's go again. We have A. Oh, I have it's whatever. But A, B, and C. All right, go again. No problem. So let's look at A first. That is a classic 2 and a third. Yeah? We've done it a few times before. 2 and a third. B. So if white plays at B, then it becomes this this corridor thing, which if white plays next, it's 3. If black plays next, then we have to go again. If black plays and then black plays, the last one is sente. So yeah, interestingly, at the moment where if white plays here, white would block at B, right? Then black push, means this white, black's next move makes it effectively, like, white can block and have 2, or when black plays, the next one, he has the right to make it 0. So it's, after white plays here, white can play to have 3, or black can play, and it's effectively 1. Is the way it works, yeah? So if white plays, it's 3. If black plays, it's 1. That means the original position, white has 2. So after white, it's 2. If black plays at B, that's kind of interesting. Then the next black move would be, what would it be? It would be Atari, right? To try to get any point that black can. Then white would connect. Then black would have to capture for that to make sense. Okay, so I guess for this one, it's going to be kind of complicated. So let's write it over here. White, 2. If black, and then black again, black captures a stone, and then black again would be 2. Black, black, white is going to be 2/3. Do you guys get it? Hope you get it. 2/3. That means black, black is 1 1/3. Yeah. Black, white, we have to figure out what white would even do. Black, white, if white just blocks, then white's next move would be able to make 1 point, right? Yeah, that would be the best thing to do, is to make a 1 point. And it would be better done over here, probably. So black, white could be, white is 1 point, black, white, white is 1 point, black, white, black should be 0 for sure. So black, white is a half point for white. Oh, wait. Excuse me, white here is -2. So black, white is just a half point. Black, white equals -1/2. That means that black overall is halfway between these, which is halfway between 0 and 1. Wow. Really? So it's 11/12 up from -6/12 is 5/12. Okay, so 5/12, I guess. Yeah, because we go from 16/12 and +16/12 and -6/12 is 22 difference. So yeah, it's a 5/12. Okay. So if black plays, there's 5/12 here. If white plays, it's -2. That means that the size of the move yeah. I'm just thinking whether there was a sente move that I missed at some point here. But after black at 5/12, then so like when we go from 5/12 to 1 1/3, is that a smaller difference than 1 1/3 to 2? So 2/3. So we go 1 1/3 minus 2/3. That's gonna go down to 2/3. 2/3 is greater than 5/12. So okay, it's all gote all the way down. Great. All right, so then that means that the size of the move is 29/12. 29/12, which is 2 and 5/12. Slightly smaller than 2 1/2, slightly bigger than 2 1/3 here. So 2 and 5/12 is our biggest so far. So then let's check out C. So after C, after black plays at C, then okay, let's check out first if white plays at C. If white plays at C, white's going to get all these 4 points, and then Yeah, we push black back the same amount that they would always be pushed back, but black is the one with the third point. We get to capture this stone. So we'll say if white plays at C, let's remember this one is at 2 and 5/12. So if white plays, we're going to give white all those 4 points for safety, for ease. And then the additional point here, so total of 5, and black is going to get, you're going to have to answer to that, and black is going to get a third. So white plays, white gets 4 and 2/3. If black plays, then we have to check what happens black. So black is when black would Atari and then connect back, and then white would play here. And white is getting only one of those points. So black is 1. Black white means white connects here. Then the next best thing for black to do is to connect. White would play here and connect. So black white black is 2. Black white is where white Atari is here. Then black comes back. White captures 2 stones. Black captures 1 stone. White gets 1 point back. And then the last thing is nothing. So then that's 3. 3 points for white. So black white is 2.5. Black is 1. And that means that indeed going there is smaller. Okay, so it is indeed gote. Okay, and then that means that black is originally 1 and 2/3. Right? Go from 1 to 2.5. No. Sorry. Black is 1 and 3/4. Maybe something is wrong. So the size of this one is the difference, the distance between 1 and 3/4 and 4 and 2/3. And we have to compare that to 2 and 5/12. This one is a little bit smaller than 3, but not much. It's clearly the biggest, bigger than 2 and 5/12. So C is the biggest. That's correct. I don't want to actually figure out how many 12ths this one is. I guess I can figure it out. But isn't it just one less? Isn't this one like actually just 2 and 11/12? Isn't that how it works? Like when you divide by 12ths? Yeah, it is. Because this one is 8/12, that one is 9/12. And then, yeah. So this one is, C is 2 and 11/12. And then B is 2 and 5/12. Okay. Solved. Oh, wait. I might have misunderstood. Oh no. We weren't on the 17th problem. Today is the 17th of the month. Darn it. I don't know why they told us what day of the month it is. But they told us what day of the month it is instead of telling us how many problems we've done. We don't know how many problems of the 20 we've done, but I'm sure it's a lot. We have a bunch of these. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 on the 9x9 board, and I did a couple also before starting recording. We must be very nearly done here. Unfortunately, there's only 1 life left because I was lazy that one time and missed one, genuinely. Misunderstood one. So if we fail this one, all of our efforts go to waste. Not really, but I still got better as a player, but you get the point. A, B, C. Okay, so we know that B is a 6-pointer. That's easy. How big is A? That's not so easy. So if black blocks at A, then we know that the hane is sente, and then it's like that. So we can call it, we'll say we get 5 points in the corner. 6 points in the corner. We're going to go all the way. I see what's happening. So we're going to say it's that black is +6. Then what happens when white plays? White white is black having 0. Yeah, we have to go all the way and fill this one in. And then white would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more points. So white is -6. White, black. Then black has 1 point, and white has, of these three, only a third point equity, right? If that, there, no, 2/3 point equity. Here, wait, black is, this is the right, then that is white's right, and then white has, yeah, 2/3 point equity there from these three. And then additionally has, because white, black, it means that they still have 3 points there. So white has 3, black has 1, white also has 2/3. That means in total, white would have 2 and 2/3. 2 and 2/3. White, black is pretty easy to count. Then white still 0. White, because it's going to be sente, and then black would have 4. So that's positive 4 for black. White, black, white. White would be playing here. Then we've counted that before, but we're going to have to count it again because I didn't pay enough attention the first time. So white, black, white. Black resolves to being black gets 4, white gets 3, plus 1. White, black, white, white. This is white sente. Black has 1 point and a third of a point. White has 3. So black has 1 1/3. White has 3. In total, that's -1 2/3. So we know now that this means white, black, white is -1/3. Therefore, white, black, we know to be between white, black, black, and white, black, white at 1 5/6. We know that white, white between these is going to be oh geez. So it's 3 1/3 apart, which means we have to go 1 2/3 difference, which means it's going to be 4 1/3, -4 1/3, -4 1/3, which means that white, the first move, halfway between 1 5/6 and -4 1/3, that's -4 2/6. Gosh. If it was 1 2/3, then they would be 6 apart. But it's 1 5/6. So they are 6 1/6 apart. 6 1/6 apart. Sorry. That doesn't. Sorry. It means that the move size after white plays is 6 1/6, but the value when white plays is 3 1/12 higher than 4 1/3, -4 1/3, or 3 1/12 lower. Sorry, 3 1/12 is 37/12, and I have 1 5/6, which is 10/12 plus, so 22/12. I have 22/12 minus 37/12 is clearly -15/12, which is minus 1 1/3 somehow. Seriously? Is that easy? I don't know how it got that easy. That looks about right. Is it? No, it's not. Minus 1 1/3 from here. I got it wrong. Darn it. 4. Oh no, it's not 3 1/3. It's 4 1/3. Jeez. Halfway between -4 1/3 and 1 5/6. So 6 and a 6. So you want 3 and a 12th taken away from 4 and a third is the way to do it. That is clearly 1 and a quarter. -1 and a quarter. Okay. -1 and so yeah, -1 and a quarter. So we have black is 6, white is -1 and a quarter, which means that indeed it is not Sente, because the size of this white move is 6 and a 6th. So indeed this A is not Sente for white. And that means that the sum size of the move is 7 and a quarter. This one is 6. And how big is this? Okay. I believe I've got it right there. I believe. That seems about right. Yeah. Okay. 7 and a quarter. 6. C. How big is C? Isn't this the one that I messed up earlier, by the way? This one? Wait, after white plays at A, the next move is 6 and a 6th. I got it right the second time, didn't I? But earlier, that was the same exact problem that I thought it was only 6. How did I mess it up the first time? I'm very confused. Sorry. Just okay. I somehow fixed my error accidentally. Okay, C. If black plays at C, then white will Atari, and then there's no life and death stuff after Atari, right? So we'll just go down evenly like this, I think. I think that's natural, normal. Yeah. So if black plays at C, then black is going to be getting all these points. Let's go all the way back here. Yeah, and white will be blocking down here. So we're going to count this as... Oh, but black will have to capture... Oh, no, not really. Yeah, black will be getting all of these points. Okay. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. I'm going to include in that. So if black plays, it's black by 9. If white plays, then white would Atari here, I believe. And then black can capture. And then white can fall back or descend. Of which descend is clearly better, I guess. So if white plays... Oh, we're gonna have to figure out whether that white move is actually Sente or not, aren't we? But no, it clearly is. Okay, if white does choose to play, then black could still come back for the same thing. So if white does choose to play, white is gonna play here and here. Okay. Then what does black do? Black can either block or push here and then allow this situation, which is like an endless corridor, really long corridor. God damn it. So hopefully instead black wants to block here. God, I don't like it. Hopefully instead black wants to block here. Because then when white plays here, white's getting 1 extra point and then a third of a point. Whereas if this one happens and then white plays here, white pushes in 1 extra point and then a half a point at least. And more, actually. So black does want to block here. And then white plays here. And then white gets a third of a point extra. And then white is blocking before. So if white plays, then white is getting 3 and a third. And black is getting, compared to the last 1. Where black was blocked like this. This time, black is blocked like this. So black loses the point of territory here, point of territory here, point of territory here, point of territory there. Still can capture. So that's 4 points lost. So white gets 3 1/3 more, and black gets 4 points less. This was 7 1/4. Yeah? And then the C... Oh man, we're not counting this. The C is actually 7 1/3. So C is bigger than A by a tiny, tiny difference, I believe. Correct. I did it! That was problem 20 of the set. Hooray! We scraped by. Someone explain, if you can, how I correctly solved the thing where what's going on after white pushes at A this time, but not the last time, if you can. I would greatly appreciate it in the comments if you could help me out on what I made a mistake on, so I can try not to do it in the future. But there we go. We just did the hard endgame valuation on the Go Problems app. I believe there's still a step up from there. So this is that was value comparison, and that was the hard step. So next up is hardest. This app is made for pros, so hard. Already good job me. I did it. I did the hard ones. Hardest is going to be, I'm sure, very difficult, but I will try again in a video next time. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is great fun for me, at least. I will see you next time. Have a good one, guys. Bye bye.